Hello, everyone. This is Francis Donald. I'll be sitting in for Michael today, or tonight, or this morning, depending on where you are. Michael is traveling. Um, so, what I'd like to do is talk just a bit about Gemini, especially a couple of concepts connected with the sign. And also, this, just a heads up, this is a kind of celebration of Nicholas Rorick's paintings. I tried to choose the most relevant paintings um, for the subject matter at hand. So, without any further ado, and I'm going to have to come out of full screen because when I started the webinar, the control panel jumped right in the way of my text. So now I have to go back in. Here we go. Okay. So, to start, this is, both these quotes are from Esoteric Astrology. Um, Apart from the importance of the influence of Gemini as the dominant power in the mutable cross, it is also one of the paramount zodiacal signs in that it is the major symbol of duality in the zodiac. It is the constellation Gemini and its inherent second-ray influence which control every one of the pairs of opposites in the great zodiacal wheel. Gemini therefore forms with each of the pairs of opposites in the zodiac a third factor, powerfully influencing the other two constellations, and thus forms with them a certain great zodiacal triangle. Now, I didn't include it here, but he goes on to give an example of Leo and Aquarius, and that the Gemini is the equilibrating third point. And I think that this has a lot to do with the fact that it is the sign in which the Festival of Goodwill happens. Okay, and then a couple of pages down from that quote is this one. Because the ray of love wisdom, the second ray, pours through Gemini, it becomes apparent how true is the occult teaching that love underlies the entire universe. God is love, we are assured. And this statement is both an exoteric and an esoteric truth. This underlying love of deity reaches our solar system primarily through Gemini, which forms with the constellation of the Great Bear and the Pleiades a cosmic triangle. This is the triangle of the cosmic Christ and is the esoteric symbol lying behind the cosmic Christ. So you have this triangle that sits atop the quaternary of the mutable cross. Okay, so with no further ado, and accompanied by the fabulous artwork of Nicholas Rorick, I'd like to start this meditation with just a single Om to kind of align the vibration, and then we'll move into our meditation. Withdraw your consciousness from the personality and its vehicles and enter deeply into the presence of the soul. Feel yourself established as a soul within the field of light, love, and spiritual power. Now merge yourself as a soul into a deep sense of the group soul. Now expand your awareness to imaginatively unite in soul with the spiritually minded people of the world and with the men and women of goodwill throughout the world. Now visualize the group soul of which you are a part, merging into the one soul of humanity. Realize that there is no my soul and thy soul. Deeply realize not is but me. Now, imagine a potent point of tension fed by the will aspect of the soul in accordance with your soul ray, gathered at the mental unit and forming the foundation of the Antakarana. First ray is red, second ray indigo, third ray green, fourth ray yellow, fifth ray orange, sixth ray silvery rose or light blue, and seventh ray violet. throughout this meditation, if you're not aware of your soul ray, use the color indigo, the second ray, indigo blue. Now imaginatively visualize your dual-colored individual antakarana, a rainbow bridge. That's your personality ray color and your soul ray color. Connecting your lower mind, which is centered in the middle unit, with the monastic permanent atom, which is on the first subplane of the monastic plane, and subsequently with the Buddhic and Atmic permanent atoms of the spiritual triad. This is the bridge building section of our meditation, where you visually imagine the dual colored soul and personality rays reaching up in a pattern that seems most natural to you towards these higher realities represented by the spiritual triad. As you're building the antakarana, reaching up into ever greater levels of light, let the color of your soul ray begin to dominate as you're moving into the higher realms. Now imagine your individual Antakarana merging with the group Antakarana, which is colored with all the 7 colors, but primarily the deep indigo blue of the second ray, both reaching into the realm of the spiritual triad. So this becomes a rainbow 7-colored or 7-tone bridge. And your dual color is merging with the group color, finding its place within that group color. Your individual Antakarana and ray qualities and the individual Antakaranas of all group members with their ray qualities are visualized as part of the group Antakarana. Attempt to deeply feel this connection with each other through this commonly built bridge. In a sense, in the Aquarian age especially, there is no individual Antakarana because we move together as a group towards higher spiritual consciousness. Now, inwardly and in continued identification with the group soul, affirm the great word of power, I see the greatest light. As you imaginatively project a line of vivid, living white light into the triadal realms, along the individual and group antakaranas from an established point of individual and group tension on the mental plane. So following the line of the group Antakarana that you've been visualizing, the 7-fold Antakarana, project a beam of vivid living white light piercing upward or inward into triadal, the realms of the triad. Now, in the presence of this great light that you've generated upward, the light of the spiritual triad, which it pierces, attempt to feel the presence of the great white brotherhood, the Lodge of Masters, the spiritual hierarchy of our planet. Inwardly and with heartfelt gratitude, offer your salutations to the Masters and to the head of the hierarchy, the Christ. Salutations to the Buddha, Lord of light and wisdom. Salutations to the Christ, the Master of all masters. Salutations to the triangle of masters with whom we work most closely. Salutations to Master Morya. Salutations to Master Kutmumi. Salutations to Master Dual Kul. Salutations to the spiritual hierarchy of our planet. Now, imaginatively, raise your thoughts to Shambhala, the center where the will of God is known. And with deepest reverence and in all humility, attempt, identified as the group soul, to attune with the presence of Sanat Kumara, standing at the center of Shambhala. Sound a long, silent Om as you imagine the group imbued with his energy. realize that Shambhala is the planetary center through which the energies of the constellations and the planets initially enter, according to the law of assembly, especially at full moon opportunities, to be distributed to all sentient beings upon the earth. Now, let's align with the spiritual qualities emanating from the three planetary rulers of the sign Gemini. Mercury, the exoteric ruler, revealing the nature of the pairs of opposites. Venus, the esoteric ruler, uniting the pairs of opposites. And the Earth, the hierarchical ruler, the field of service. Ponder on the power of Mercury in relation to Gemini, conveying the ability to recognize and relate all the many pairs of opposites until an articulated vision of unified wholeness is achieved. In silence, open your consciousness imaginatively to impressions born upon the Mercurian stream of energy. The meditation recommends that we use the fourth ray color yellow to visualize the symbol of Mercury. Attempt to realize the areas in which you and your group, our group, are most in need of the Mercurian qualities. And then, visualizing ourselves imbued with the divine qualities of Mercury, imaginatively transmit those qualities to our group. Now let's turn our attention to Venus. Ponder on the power of Venus, conveying the power to unite and fuse the two brothers, Castor and Pollux, soul and personality, until the transmutation, transformation, and transfiguration that the solar angel intends to induce within the personality has been achieved. In silence, open your consciousness imaginatively to impressions born upon the Venusian stream of energy. This meditation recommends that we visualize the symbol of Venus in indigo blue. It's esoteric, counterpart to Mars. Mercury reveals the pairs of opposites. Venus unites them. In our path, the ultimate pair at this time is personality and soul, first revealed and then united. Now attempt to realize the areas in which you and your or our group are most in need of the Venusian qualities. And then visualizing your or ourselves imbued with the divine qualities of Venus, imaginatively transmit those qualities to our group. Now let's turn our attention to the earth, hierarchical ruler. Ponder then on the power of the earth, which stands in need of the angelic redemption which the energies of Gemini convey. Realize that graduates of Earth School become adjudicators between the pairs of opposites which Gemini represents through, quote, releasing sorrow and, quote, purifying pain. Those who graduate from Earth School achieve luminescence, and its evolving human being becomes living stone. In silence, open your consciousness imaginatively to impressions emerging from the Earth's major qualities. And he recommends, this meditation recommends visualizing the symbol of Earth either in green or indigo blue. Now let's attempt to realize the areas in which you and your or our group are most in need of the qualities demonstrated by the logos of our planet, Sanat Kumara, the Earth, and visualizing your or ourselves imbued with these divine qualities, imaginatively transmit such qualities to your or our group. So what qualities are demonstrated by the logos of our planet? And once you have some apprehension of that, imaginatively transmit those qualities to your or our group. Now, let us raise our imaginative group consciousness to the solar logos, expressing through our sun and the solar system. Attempt to feel that the great second ray of the solar logos, the God of love wisdom, is pouring through all planets, through Shambhala and every monad, soul and personality on planet Earth. Now from this high vantage, let's move yet further out to focus our imaginations on the constellation Gemini, which radiates the light of interplay. This is a line of light beams revealing that which opposes, or the basic duality of manifestation, the relationship of spirit and of form. It is the conscious light of that relationship. So let's open ourselves to feel the energy quality of Gemini, this revelation and then union of the pairs of opposites, attempting to realize its profound relationship to the second ray of love, wisdom, and via Mercury, Venus, and the Earth to the fourth, fifth, third, and second rays, respectively. So, Gemini is the source of love, wisdom in our solar system. Attempt to feel that energy quality of Gemini. And then imaginatively relate that energy to each of its rulers. Mercury, fourth ray. Venus, fifth ray. The Earth, third ray. And Gemini itself, the second ray. And the entire solar system, the second ray. Attempt to realize the connection of the Gemini energy to the forces of reconstruction, making possible the rebuilding of human civilization and the planet according to the plan indicated by the forces of restoration. The entire process pursued in an illumined manner within the light shed by the forces of enlightenment. So these three great force centers, forces of reconstruction, forces of restoration, and forces of enlightenment, are each brought into their respective purpose by this great second ray that flows from Gemini to our solar system. Now let's ponder deeply on the mantra for Gemini, the esoteric keywords. I recognize my other self, and in the waning of that self, I grow and glow, and attempt to grasp its esoteric meaning and significance. This keyword is stated from the perspective of the soul, because the other self that's being recognized is the waning self of the personality. I recognize my other self, and in the waning of that self, I grow and glow. It's the perfect keywords for the three ruling planets. First of all, revelation of the pairs of opposites, of the twins, and then the union of the twins, and then the field of service wherein that union can find its place of service in the earth. So now we're going to follow a line of the downflow of energy, starting with the constellation Gemini, through the solar logos at the heart of our solar system, through the planets Mercury, Venus, and the Earth, on down into Shambhala, and through your monad and all associated monads, the monads of our group, and the groups to which you belong. Finally, into the hierarchy through the great Lord, the Christ, and into and through the ashram from which you believe yourself to be increasingly associated, and thus through your soul and the group soul or your co-workers, into your spiritualized personality and all associated spiritualized personalities. Now, preserving these high alignments that we've created through this meditation, including that of the building of the group Antakarana, visualize or think of the world situation and the ways in which the energies of Gemini, as the bearer of the second ray of love wisdom, can be applied for the upliftment and redemption of humanity and the planet in accordance with the divine plan. Visualize the energies of Gemini rightly applied, solving at least one important problem of humanity or problem of the planet. Okay, now imbued with the several energies bestowed upon us and the group at this time, the Gemini full moon, with hands upraised, send your blessings into humanity and its consciousness so that it may rise to its new spiritual potentials as promised by the divine plan. Okay, now this is an instruction for the state of being to say the great invocation, preserving our high alignment by reaffirming them in the imagination, quietly and rhythmically sound the great invocation, as if in unison with the Christ, the Masters of Wisdom, and the members of our group. We'll close this meditation with the sacred word 3 times, spreading light, love, and power to all humanity, all kingdoms of nature, and the planet. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of men. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men. May Christ return to earth. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men, the purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center which we call the race of men, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. Thank you all for attending, and I wish you a terrific actual moment full moon meditation.